What is up, guys and girls, and welcome to the very first ever Just Talking 2 episode. It's the first ever episode. Who better to have than the original founder of Just Talking? And here he is, Red Event Games. How are you doing?
Not bad, mate. Not bad at all. Very good mood.
Stuff. Good mood. Any particular reason? Do I need to ask?
Oh, it's been a good weekend. Yeah, you're referring to fact, Liverpool fan, happy as Larry with the results in the Champions League, but also been doing some recording for the other show as well, and had some fun with that as well.
And obviously, you were late to the recording because you were watching an open top bus thing on YouTube.
I was 2 minutes late. Actually, looking at the time, I was 1 minute late.
Well, late is late.
And at least my system worked.
Okay. Yeah, good point. We won't go into that.
No.
So, yeah, these projects you're doing, anything specific you want to mention about them?
No, well, we've got, lots of Just Talking episodes coming up that I think people will enjoy. Some interesting challenges we've got for a few people in them. New series is coming out hopefully soon. Got lots of bits and pieces, and of course we're working on the amazing indie competition that's come about, which we're calling an indie summer.
An indie summer sounds awesome. So, what the indie summer is a project that obviously you and USMCSKY have come up with, and myself, and DannyDSC is involved as well. That's like the competition side of it, which we'll get into in a minute. But the actual indie summer stream thing that's going to be happening, what's going on with that?
At the moment, we can't. That details are still being finalised, but that's going to be. I don't know what the full name of it's going to be yet, because that's more USMCSKY's part, but that'll be happening at the end of the month, so people can stay tuned for announcements on that. But yeah, it should be fun. It's going to be interesting because it will involve both sides of the globe, this time round. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, so still quite cryptic there. Basically it's going to be like what was the last one they did? Which was just the America, wasn't it? The indie.
Yeah, they did the weekend and the indie week.
Indie week, yeah.
So again, it'll be indie game focused. And June seems to be a lot of indie events happening through different communities.
Yeah.
Because you've got Love Indies that's happening as well, which that we've got the an indie summer competition happening. There's the stream happening, and there's a few other bits and pieces. So June, is a time of year that you find that we want to promote these indie games, support these indie developers, and show the diverse nature of what indie games are.
Yeah.
There's so many great games out there.
Yeah, and I think it's good that they're sort of coming into their own as well, because obviously I started creating content / streaming January last year, around the same time you did, and obviously we both came into it as Football Manager streamers.
Yeah.
But we've both moved over to the indie scene. And before I did that, obviously I knew what indie games were and all that, but it was all about the big blockbuster AAA titles. And I don't really remember hearing much about many indie games, and I don't think it's because I've moved into it that all of a sudden it's exploded. But
I think also the fact, but I think what's happened is, I think our the general awareness, because we've kind of come into this creator community, we're kind of, our eyes have been opened to so many more different things that go on that we maybe didn't think about. As I said, we were both Football Manager creators. Apart from Football Manager, I maybe bought 6, 7 kind of probably mainstream titles, a couple of small titles here and there throughout the course of a year. But since I've been involved in the creator side of it, I've been exposed to so many different titles and styles of games and different creators' ideas, and speaking with developers, it just kind of opens your eyes a bit more, I think. And when you look through, the games and where they've started, and the work that these guys put into it, I think it just does give you a bit more of a passion for those games.
Yeah, I mean, like, and some of them, like, they go from one end of the spectrum to the others. I mean, there is some indie games that aren't far off, AAA games.
Oh, definitely.
And then there's some that are very basic but are so good in their own way, like, whether it be storyline or comedy value, or there's so much. I don't know what I thought indie games were.
Yeah.
Previous, but it's kind of like, it's not a niche. I wouldn't say it's a niche. It's a huge thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's so many different sort of things that go into the indie gaming thing.
I think a lot of people get mixed up with indie and retro.
Yeah, because I think like 8-bit and all that sort of thing. Yeah, like
there is still a lot of games. There's a lot of market for those retro type games, and some of them then do cross over into the indie market. But a lot of the indie games are small, independent studios, one, maybe two people working on games, sometimes bigger games, sometimes, from talking with Just Wall Games, two partners who are in different parts of the world now as well.
Yeah.
And it just shows that, again, the community that those guys have is amazing. And just seeing the work they do and the time and the passion and, speaking with them, it's probably what's fired my passion for that side of it as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I count myself very lucky.
I mean, I would probably say that, along with a lot of other stuff, you've kind of inspired me to move into the indie side of things, because obviously you moved in a bit before me, and then you got me involved in some of the projects, and where we were testing games as well and stuff like that, which is not something I ever thought I'd do. I thought that was just something people got paid to do and a job, you know. But actually, there's so many people that are after people to try the games out and help, and they're so grateful as well.
Where the AAA studios have got massive budgets. I mean, you're talking the same sort of budgets that they're talking about for films.
Yeah.
No, you're talking millions of pounds they'll spend on a game. Therefore, they can go to a company and go, "We need 100 people to test this."
Yeah.
An indie developer can't do that.
Yeah.
So they use the community and the creators to test the games. And I think the best example I can think of, like we've been involved in, was Escape the Labyrinth.
Yeah.
We were literally playing them, making comments, streaming them, making comments, and
they were almost changing them there and then, weren't they? It's like they were watching the streams and the videos and just changing. If they found anything, they would just there and then change it.
And I think that's brilliant. Again, that's one of the great things about indie games. Again, speaking with a developer today, you made the comment, saying they've made changes and implemented ideas that community came out with because they were good ideas and they improved the game that they were doing. Big developers, AAA games, unless it's a major mistake that's in the game, they don't change it. And, that to me, it just makes, it's kind of the big difference.
Yeah.
The indie games are very much community driven a lot of the time.
Yeah, because I mean, you've got all these. There's games now that they're bringing out and they're not even finished. Like, I mean, AAA titles. You know what I mean? And they're calling them episodic, aren't they, or whatever?
Some of them aren't even what I'd call episodic. Some of them are just shambles.
Yeah.
I played one a few months ago, and I'd been looking forward to it for so long, and you're talking of I think it was about 40 gigabyte download. So therefore you took time, the anticipation, loaded up, 6 attempts to get into the game. Then you start getting angry. You start thinking, "What the heck's going on?"
Yeah.
You get into the game, and it's basically unplayable.
Yeah.
And you just go, "What is the point in this?"
And then you just have to wait, don't you, for the next patch, because it's not like you've got that relationship with the developer, like we do with indie games. I mean, I've had a couple of guys not come up to me personally, but obviously in my DMs and say, "Do you want to try this game out?" You know, obviously you've been involved in some of them as well, and it's brilliant. And you know, you help shape the game in the end. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's it. How many times have we been? How many times, you know, with the communities that we're in, we're sitting watching someone play a game, and the developer is in that stream, or the developer has been in the comments of the videos, because you know they pick up on what we say and what we do, and have that. And I think that, I mean, I've kept, you know, majority of the, you know, the developers I've spoken with, I like to think I've still got great relationships with, you know, even months and sometimes year after I've done videos and that for them.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot more personable, and you know, I keep saying that, you know, they've made my life so much more pleasant with the games I get to play.
Yeah, I mean, if it weren't for the developers being so trusting with the gamers and the content creators or whatnot, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing.
No.
I mean, I'd still be playing other games, but you know, we wouldn't have the opportunity to help out in the community as such. So it's whereas Football Manager was a very small community, a very niche community where we both started in. You know, you probably had the big FMers were probably, you could probably count on both your hands.
Yeah.
And then it sort of rapidly went down. Do you know what I mean? That most of the audience was with them, whereas this is a big community, and it just seems like you can keep growing as long as you keep working around and meeting new people and networking and all that. You seem to be able to keep growing. You don't sort of hit that wall.
To me, it goes back to that phrase, which is why I think me and you work well in it, and we've worked well together. Is that phrase that we've said right from the start?
You're going to say it. Go on.
Yeah, we grow together.
Hashtag
Simple
we grow
as
together.
That. Yeah. Because that's been me and you. This is what got we both said it. This, you know, in the conversations at the same time, right back about, you know, literally 12 months ago, and said, you know, this is how we feel. This is our attitude, and it's something I've not diverted from. That I will always try and help the community, you know, around me. You know, if there's some people that are still parts of the community, but they're different, you know, slightly different parts. But that's because they concentrate on a certain type of, you know, of games.
Yeah.
I saying this, but he's saying is, you know, I concentrate on this part, and people on that side of it, you know, if they want me to be involved and they want my help, you know, I'm there to help them. And you know, it's such a lovely feeling when I see, you know, maybe if I can't do a game and I can put it in someone's, you know, right direction, or if a developer comes to me and, you know, I can do something with their game and the product, or give them a bit of feedback from it, that makes my day. And I've got so much satisfaction, as I said, about what I now do, and with the people I now work alongside as well.
Yeah, and I think, again, that's one of the reasons I enjoy it as well. Obviously, when I first started doing it, obviously with the Football Manager again, it's basically the joy you'd get is from the game. Yeah. And I think that's another reason why I've kind of fallen out of it, because as much as I used to love that joy that you'd get through, you know, taking a team to the unknown or winning whatever.
Winning the Champions League.
Yeah, we won't talk about the winning any of the Champions League or anything like that. But like that was, it was just the same feeling over and over again, wasn't it? And although it seemed like it was a powerful feeling, and I really enjoyed it, coming over to sort of this sort of indie community, it shows you that there is a lot more satisfaction in helping people in the community. I mean, like I said, it just keeps growing, and you're never just stuck talking to the same handful of people. No. Do you know what I mean? There's always new people dropping in your DMs, and you know, as long as you're networking and meeting new people all the time, there's always.
It. But I think it's the same for any creator, and it's something I've tried to, you know, say to people right since I started doing this, and since I started getting involved with like Creative Helping Hands, and you know, various other bits and pieces. You've got to be out there and be active in some way. Okay, I'm not the most active person on Discord. I'll hold my, you know, hands up and say that. But you've got to be networking. You've got to be talking to people. You've got to be interacting with people. Twitter's been the best way of doing that. Retweeting other people, getting to talk the likes of, people like Stephen Courtney, Og Spartan, DannyDSC, yourself, all, VP, all these sort of people. They all help and all promote things in their own way, and it's also paying attention to, if you see a little, like a developer, they're following them and just keep an eye, because that's how the Escape the Labyrinth thing came around. Yeah. I'd been following Project Cloud, and there's a tweet came out one day saying we're looking for people to test our game. I messaged them saying, look, I'd be interested, and that's that conversation started, and I could listen to what they had planned. And I went, well, do you want more people involved? Hence why the likes of yourself and everybody else got involved.
Yeah, and that's kind of where my journey started.
Yeah, and it's in that whole thing is just kind of blossomed to what we're now doing, and it's such a lovely feeling. We've done that now with likes of Ionia, and we've got some other ones coming up and around that we're kind of working towards doing. So it's great, and I think sometimes also for the developer, they automatically get a few different opinions on the game. Yeah, your opinion and my opinion might be the same. I doubt it, but
I think Liverpool are rubbish.
Yeah, well, you have to get one of our ex-managers to improve your team. So that's enough said on that one. But you know what I mean? It's kind of like we kind of give them that. If we've got 4 or 5 people that from our groups playing those games, they've got 4 or 5 different opinions straight away.
Yeah.
And they know that we work well as a team, and that's why we do these things.
And I think as well with the communication and the fun that we all had with that Escape the Labyrinth with Project Cloud as well was it all added to the sort of like I don't think there was any awkwardness with anyone, even though we didn't know each other. Like the developers. I mean, you spoke to them a few times, but none of us had. But it was almost like we already knew them, even though we just jumped straight in and had a laugh with them and all that. So yeah, I think it is a really really good sort of.
But I think it's what it is. I think developers also realise, I mean, I'm the sort of, if they come to me with some, I mean, I work in a, the simulation, and I will occasionally go off, simulation indie type stuff, and I will occasionally do other games as well, puzzles and things like that. I love I love puzzle games. I love things that use the mind. That's why I always say that's one of the reasons I love Football Manager, because it wasn't just button bashing. You had to think about, the types of players you wanted in your side, how you wanted the tactics to go and things like that. And that's why I love simulation games, because it's not just A X X X X X X X Y Y Y Y Y. Yeah. If certain games you can learn the combinations of buttons and you win.
Yeah.
The games I play, you can't do that. There is
it's different every time.
Yeah, and some of the games you play, they are literally you can sit and go. You load a game and it's a completely different setting. They put it in right from the start.
Yeah.
So it's good that way. But I'm also the sort of is if a game is not right for me, I know enough other people now where I can go, why not speak to so and so?
Yeah.
Or speak to this person. Or look, I'll tell you what, I'll speak to them. If the developer's unsure, because again, I've networked and got people I know and I trust to do certain types of things.
Yeah. So and everyone's got their own, preferences on what they like to play and that. So,
I like driving buses.
And making hospitals.
Making hospitals and visiting them on occasions as well. Yeah, that's a different story.
Is that why you've stopped doing the hospital one? You've had enough.
I just thought I'll build my own next. It might be quicker than waiting for the NHS. That's a different story, though, isn't it?
It is. Okay, so let's move on to an Indian summer, or hashtag an indie summer. I keep doing that. Indie summer.
It's easy done, and it kind of, I must admit, when I picked the name, I kind of deliberately wanted that to happen, because it's based around that Indian summer, that kind of summer you don't expect, the hotter than you expect summer, and that later than you expect summer, all this kind of different summer. And I thought, I was trying to think of the same in an indie community, and it's been something I've been, toying with, and bits and pieces for a while, and I came up with that an indie summer, and I thought it kind of worked nicely. So yeah,
It does, but you feel like you're missing that syllable. It's like where I work. I work in a area called Bridgman, and that area it's spelt Bridgman. There's no E there, but you
the amount of
can't.
people that spell it with an E.
Yeah, you just automatically spell it with an E. It's like indie. You just kind of, because it's got a summer on the end, you kind of feel like you have to say that Indian. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, it's catchy. It's got a good little ring to it as well, isn't it?
But it's getting people talking already. You know, we've been doing the announcements for the games. You know, before we're recording this, and by the time it comes out, we'll have announced how to enter as well. But that was kind of, as I said, it was that deliberate thing to get people going. What's this? You know, an Indian summer, an indie summer. But I said, you know, with it being indie games, yeah, and it's going to be. I think it's going to give a couple of people just a summer they just won't forget.
Yeah, I quite agree. I mean, they're not going to be bored over the summer holidays.
No,
that's for sure.
At the time of recording, because like I said, we'll have announced all the games that are currently in the packages.
And you're talking about packages. You haven't said what the packages are.
So the prize that we're giving away No, let me finish.
Okay.
Is 3 bundles. So 1 bundle to 3 lucky winners of, at the moment, I think it's 22 games per bundle.
And is there a cost to enter this competition?
No.
No.
It's,
so you're basically getting 22 indie games for free. For nothing. I mean, you can't say fairer than that.
Some of the games have been around a little while. Some of the games are just out. Some of the games are just about to come out. And one of the games is access to the alpha stage of the game. So you're getting into it before a lot of other people will. So some of these games, you know, as we've been seeing there. I mean, I've played I think 3/4 of them, or I've played 3/4, or I'm about to play some more of them. And if I didn't have these games, I think most of them have been on my wish list at some point.
Yeah, there's definitely some very good games in there. Some of them I haven't heard of, but they still look quite entertaining and exciting.
Oh, there's just such a diverse nature. There's literally building games. There's shooters. There's adventure games, puzzle games. Just something for everyone. Role-playing games, simulations. There is absolutely everything in this bundle, and
most genres covered.
Yeah, as I said, I'm trying to think of a genre that isn't really covered.
Survival horror.
No, there's one there.
Is there?
Yeah.
There you go. If you want to hear what games there are, or want to see what games there are, obviously just hit up Red Event Games on his Twitter, which will
search hashtag an indie summer.
Or search hashtag an indie summer. All his links will be underneath the video as well. So right. Have you got anything else to say about an indie summer?
No, just going into it. We're going to be running it all month. We will be announcing the winners in the indie live stream at the end of the month, which again, more details will follow later.
That's what we were talking about earlier, the live stream, wasn't it? Yeah, which we haven't really.
It's still in planning.
Yeah, but it is happening, and it will be amazing. So don't miss that. Right, okay. So now I've got three sort of fun-ish questions that sort of hopefully will give a bit about your personality away. Right. So the first one, you've heard of Snog, Marry, Avoid, haven't you?
Right.
Or Kiss, Marry, Kill, whatever you want to call it. Right. So.
Kill Kylex.
No, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. Right, so I have a list of numbers between 1 and 553, right? And this is a complete random list. So you might get sports players, you might get singers. They might be males, they might be females, but you've got to play the game for funsies.
Right, okay.
Right, so a number between 1 and 553, please. Red Event Games.
Right, it's 28.
28. Okay, that's nice and easy. Oh, and it's not a bad one. So we've got Demi Lovato.
Okay.
Halsey, whoever that is, Halsey.
She's another singer, isn't she?
I don't know. And Carrie Underwood.
Okay, another American singer.
So they're the three you've got to choose. Either you can do Snog, Marry, Avoid, or Kiss, Marry, Kill, whatever you fancy.
I'll have to say avoid Halsey because I just don't really know who that is. I mean, I think I know who it is, but I'm not 100% sure.
So it's no offence, Halsey, but the other two he might like a bit more.
Well, no, it's because actually I know more about the other two.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say Snog, Carrie Underwood, but I'd probably marry Demi Lovato because she is cute.
She's also a bit of a wild child.
Well, it'll probably get me out my shell out the house a bit.
But like I said, the personality shining through. We now know that you like a bit of a wild child. You don't want the settled mumsy type.
Oh, I think it's the thing is, if I was getting involved with someone, it would have to be someone that would have their own personality to the point where I can still do this.
Yeah.
And if someone was too much of a homebody, I don't think they would get on too much because we'd get under each other's feet too much.
Yeah. Okay, so just to clarify, Halsey would be, whoever that is, would be avoided.
Yeah, but that's only because...
Only because you don't know who it is.
Not 100% sure who it is.
What you should Google it just to see if she's like proper...
Hang on a minute.
Fit or whatever.
Let's have a...
And if anyone's watching it who knows who Halsey is, make sure you put it down in the comments
American
whether he's
singer.
made a mistake or not. I've not seen it, which looks like. Are you happy with the decision?
I'll stick to what I said. Yeah, I mean, I said is she's nice looking, but again, I said I don't really know of her compared to the other two.
And so personality would go out the window then, wouldn't it? So
well, I can't make a comment because I don't really know who it is.
Yeah. Okay then. Right. So the next one is describe yourself in 3 words. Simple. That's one of the words you should probably use. No, I'm only messing.
Well, coming from you, I'll take that as a compliment because that's still about 5 steps above you. Quick-witted.
That's 2 words.
No, it's not. It's one phrase. It's hyphened.
Did you just hyphen it in imaginary terms?
Well, okay, I'm quick.
Is that in the bedroom department?
Yeah, this is. We're gonna have to chat about the format, mate. We're just talking being a family show.
I just mean going to sleep early.
I mean, I pass out when I go to sleep. I'm usually so shattered when I get to bed. So there's. I'm organised. Well, you would say that apart from if you looked at my desk.
Luckily, no one can see the desk, so.
Yeah, well, it's a dumping ground for like everything. I spend too much time at my desk. And I'd say eager.
Eager beaver.
Yeah, I want to see things work. I like things done. I like to, I'm not one of those people. If I start a conversation, I hate it when people wander off halfway through a conversation. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm always eager. It's kind of like things happen to a conclusive point.
Yeah. And that's all we've got time for.
Yeah.
And you said you're quick-witted.
I just treat you with the contempt you deserve.
I'll take that. Any sort of emotion, I'll take.
Here's the thing, you know me. It's me and you have got this kind of banter, and it's always gonna. It's been the way we've been since day one, and it's something I enjoy thoroughly. So if people think me and him are being serious with some of these digs at each other, we're having fun.
Yeah.
I do it on my show when he's not there. He'll do it when I'm not here. It's kind of who we are, and it's why we've agreed to do this kind of partnership between us, because we know we can kind of bounce these ideas and things off each other. So, yeah.
Okay, and the final question before we move on to your shout-outs is, you can only play 2 games for the rest of your life. What are they and why?
Oh.
I went with 2 because one's just that too hard, I think.
Yeah,
thought I'd
but
give you
the problem
2.
is we're picking 2. I'm going to offend developers.
No, because you've only got 2. You can
I've
only
got over
pick
300,
2.
mate.
Yeah, but no, you can only pick 2, can't you? So
I could pick 2. Oh, I would.
I mean, you've got to think about they're the only 2 games you can play forever. So replayability as well. You can't just pick a game that's short because you'll be bored of it after.
Oh no, I know that. I mean, I'm saying there's Football Manager's going to end up in there. It's one of those games that, I mean, even though there's every so often there's a completely naff version of it, or there's issues with it or that, we always come back to it.
And it's an endless challenge as well, isn't it? There's not just one challenge.
Well, that's it. You know yourself. You can, I think we all play our favourite team, and then we'll go off and play a smaller team or a foreign team, or we'll try and rebuild a team with past glory and things like that. So that's that one. Oh, what other one would I go back to? I'm trying to think. There's this. I'm actually going to defer and say I would just take 1. The problem I said is to choose another one, I would need far too long to think about it.
I mean, to be fair, that's not a bad answer, because I didn't think of that when I did the question, because it's a generalised question. It's not just going to be asked to you. I'll probably ask a few other people as well. But obviously, Football Manager as a game is endless. It is, I mean, you can play the same game completely the same.
Yeah, and it'd be different.
Well, firstly, it'll be slightly different anyway, but you buy 1 different player.
But if you think about it, you buy. No, it's not even buying 1 different player. You could go in and buy the same player all the time, but the finances will work out different, or there'll be an injury that'll be different, or there'll be something that will twist the game. I mean, you could play the same season 10 times doing exactly the same thing, and you'll come out with something different each time.
Yeah.
It might, points wise it might be the same, but you might win, score more goals. You might have so and so injured. It's one of those things.
Yeah, because you see these experiments, don't you? Where they're like, we're gonna holiday 10 years into the future and see how many times so and so have won the league, or
And they kind of have you never do it off 1 season, because if you do it off 1 season, it doesn't give you a valid point. It's one of the most brilliant simulations ever, and it's why a lot of other sports games now try and emulate it.
Yeah.
But the problem is, Football Manager's been going for 25 years, I think it is now. And other games are trying to do that on like in 2-3 years, and they wonder why it doesn't work. They've got to stick with it. They've got to make it more interesting. But again, going back to the question, the reason I won't pick a second one is there's too many great games I get to play, and the problem I've got is I don't maybe get to play them enough to say this one stands out. I mean,
well, I shouldn't let you off, but I will this once.
Got me thinking.
So let's crack on to your shout-outs of beautiful people.
Right. So I'm going to start with the Rugged Gamer. He has been my biggest supporter, one of my best friends, my biggest motivator since I started this journey.
It's not an acceptance speech. It's a shout.
No, it's not. But it is. He has been there through a lot of tough times as well. And you've also got then my fellow in Creative Helping Hands, Sefian FM, the mad Washington Football Manager creator, fellow Liverpool fan.
Cousin. Our colonial cousin.
Our colonial cousin. But he is such a great guy. He's such a great guy. And I just wanted to give him a shout. We also have to go for Stephen Courtney, a.k.a. 15 of Fame. the guy is a legend.
Is he? What's it called when you? Is he got a split personality?
I think he must have.
You never know where
I
he's gonna.
You're coming from.
Yeah, you never know who he's gonna turn up as, do you? Like,
oh, no. He turns up as both. That's the thing. You'll answer the same thing, but as both people.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it gets a bit. It's like I thought exactly the same thing the other day, and I was so tempted to make a comment.
I mean, it's brilliant for support, you know, and,
Yeah.
and obviously you get double the likes and stuff like that, and it's brilliant. But it's just like, yeah.
Yeah. You got to remember what it is to say. Stephen Courtney is his own personal account. 15 of Fame is his channel account. He doesn't do it like us, where we just have one.
Yeah.
He's greedy. I'm also going to shout out Loopy Lugs. He just recorded him. He's the next guest on Just Talking as well. He has been an amazing encouragement over the last while. Always in the comments on my videos. Just such a fun guy to chat with. And another member of the team RDG community as well. So I wanted to give him a thank out. And last but definitely least is yourself.
I was waiting for that. As soon as you said definitely least, I was waiting for it. I knew.
No, I just said is I want to thank you for taking on the Just Talking 2 project. I want to thank you for the support, encouragement, and help you've given me through, as saying, as people know, some of the the bits and pieces. I'm waiting for the operation to deal with a stupid gallbladder. For the support on an Indie Summer project, for just the support and all the bits and fun we've had over, as I said, the 12 months. So
yeah, it's been
thank
fun,
you,
man.
my friend.
And this should be fun as well, taking the show in a different direction.
No, that's it. And it is. When I was saying it's something that when I saw people were taking to Just Talking, and it's amazing. There was a show that we came up was born out of a hard drive failure, and it just seemed to be something that people seem to enjoy. And then getting to talk with other people on it. You've now been on twice, plus the
special,
plus the special, plus the Christmas special.
Every special, because I'm special.
Yeah, well, I did say tell you that. There's a tweet to prove that as well.
Yeah.
It just showed it worked, and I wish you all the best with it. And you've got my support with it.
Brilliant. Okay. So thank you very much for being our first guest on Just Talking 2, and I do hope that we do the original show proud. Thank you for coming on, and we will see you in the next episode. Peace out, guys.